If you're over 50 and looking for a project that's simple, satisfying, and keeps you active, this cedar planter box is just the thing. It's a great way to enjoy woodworking, spend time outdoors, and build something beautiful and useful with your own two hands.
Now that I've crossed that milestone age myself, I've realized woodworking is more than just making sawdust. It keeps me strong, creative, and engaged. In today's video, we will show you step by step how to build a cedar planter box. We'll keep the process clear and approachable with no complicated tools or techniques. Whether you're brand new to woodworking or picking it back up after a few decades, this planter box is the perfect way to sharpen your skills, stay creative, and enjoy the satisfaction of building something yourself.
Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss upcoming projects, tips, and inspiration made just for our community. Okay, let's build this planter.
So when it comes to buying your cedar planks for this build, when you get to the big box store, you're going to find a big pile of cedar planks just like this one. And you're going to want to look through the bin, take the time to dig through it, and find 3 good boards. Good boards defined as mostly flat and a uniform thickness on the board.
One of the super cool things about these plans is they can be resized to make a number of different things. In fact, this raised garden bed that we built was made from the same plans.
And speaking of plans, if you'd like your own set of detailed plans for building the cedar planter box that we're about to show you how to build, check for the link in the description. As I mentioned before, when you get your pickets from the big box store, they're liable to be a variety of different widths. Measure yours, find the widest common width that you can on your boards, set your table saw to that, rip all 3 boards down. In our case, these 3 pickets, 5 1/4 inches works best, so I'm going to set my fence and I'm going to rip all these down to 5 1/4, and then we'll get to moving on with cutting the rest of them.
Okay, so we've ripped our boards down to size, and now we're ready to make those first crosscuts.
So a quick note about kerf. Kerf is defined as the thickness of the blade on the saw and represents sawdust that's going to end up on the floor. So it's a good idea to understand what kerf is so you don't put the saw blade on the wrong side of the line that you just drew. After you've measured your board and struck your line, to draw an X on the waste side of the board so you know that as your saw blade comes down, you want the blade to come down onto the X, and then the board you're left with will be the length that you measured.
Organizational tip. Lay out some blue tape with the cuts you're about to make so you can stay organized throughout the build.
All right, so you've completed all your cross cuts and hopefully you've laid everything out and you've gotten organized the way Melanie has. And so next up, some of these boards are going to require that we take them over to the table saw and rip them. So let's go do that now.
If you grabbed a copy of our build plans, you'll see some color variation in the mock-ups. If you like the way that looks, now's the chance to grab some stain and get creative. You'll want to grab some penetrating wood stain, something like this, and just know it comes in lots of colors, so have fun picking your color and making it your own.
All right, progress check. All the cuts are made. It's time for the fun part, assembly. Let's talk fasteners. You're going to want to use wood glue on this build. It'll help hold your planter together for years and years and years. You could build this planter with really anything. Brad nails, pin nails, screws, staples. We're going to use staples because we find that that's the best fastener for this particular kind of outdoor build. It is important, given the thickness of the material, that you purchase 3/4 inch long staples or nails if you're going to use a pin nailer or a brad nailer. So as you're building your box, you're probably going to notice that some of your boards are cupped, curled, twisted, or otherwise not as straight as you'd like. Now's a really good time to take a look at each one and decide how you want to orient it before we start going through the assembly process. All right, time to build the front. First things first, you're going to take one of your front boards, put it down. We're going to put a bead of glue. We're going to lay a leg in place and align it, followed by 3 staples. Now we're going to do the other side, bead of glue. Lay down your board and align. 3 staples. Now you want to take your secondary front piece and slide it underneath. Line it up so it's flush with the other front. See what I did there? What am I missing? That's right, glue. Glue isn't required, but it will make your project last a lot longer. All right, so there you go. There's your first front done. Now you need to repeat the exact same steps, and when you're done, you should have your back. And with those 2 assemblies completed, this is what it should look like. Okay, now that you've finished your front and your back, it's time to add the other legs to finish out the leg assemblies. To do that, you'll want to turn one of your assemblies onto its side, keeping in mind that the legs are on the outside of your planter box. So if you end up looking at it like this, this is the inside. This is the outside of your box. So we're going to put a bead of glue on the leg and the 2 boards. You're going to lay one of your other legs in place. Line it up so it's flush on this outside. And staple. Be sure you keep your fingers clear of where the staples might come through. The wood moves around and it can scare you. Okay, so that one's done. Now we're going to flip and we're just going to keep going. You're going to do this for all your sides. Got your glue. Line up your board. And add your staples. Okay, moving on to the next piece. Bead of glue on the leg and the wood. Remember, make sure it aligns with this side. And add your staples. Flip it over and repeat. And there you have it. The next step is to glue in the sides. So you want to orient your boards on your work surface like this, looking down at the top, legs on your side, and your sides are basically going to go in like this, flush with the top, glue, staple for all 4 boards. We're going to rotate 180 and do the other side. I'll show you. You want to align this board with the top. I like to go ahead and put the second board in. Make sure it's all the way up snug against the board above it. And then you can lift it up, move the next piece under. We're going to rotate 180 and repeat the process. The box might seem a little flimsy at this point. It will get stronger as you continue to glue and staple in pieces. Your box will definitely get stronger. Bear with me, it's an awkward camera angle. Last side. Depending on your box, you might hit here and it's a little stiff. You might have to push it down into place to get it to fit. But a good snug fit is what you're looking for. There you go. It's starting to look like a cedar planter box. The next step is to install the bottom. This particular box design uses a crosshatch pattern in the bottom such that you can take a plant that's already in a plastic pot and just sit it in here. You don't have to worry about drilling drain holes or water building up in it. Your plant will just drain naturally through it. And if that doesn't work for you, you can also skip the last 2 boards that you're going to see me install and instead cut a few more of these 11-inch cedar planks from some scrap that you might have and just staple those into the bottom. That'll give you a solid bottom. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Don't forget the glue. The glue is an important step in building this box. And you'll notice that I'm applying the glue to the shorter 11-inch sides. If you take this strip and you put it in and it's really loose, you've got your box turned one position off. So make sure that your short bottom pieces are the same length as the sides that you're stapling them to, and you'll be good to go. That's one support. We're going to go 180. Apply glue. I'd love to know in the comments what kind of plants you plan on putting in your planter, or where you live and what's popular with your region this time of year. Out here, it's in Colorado, it's all about mums. Sad fact, did you know that mums are toxic to dogs, and we love our dogs, so we don't do mums. Okay, so now you're going to want to turn your box upright and glue these last two pieces in and staple them on the supports that you just installed. Now, if these don't fit, your cedar planter box is going to look beautiful at this point, but it may not be perfectly square. So if these don't fit, just trim them down a little bit. I like to put the glue on these pieces. Dabble, do you? Drop them in place. Ooh, see the glue dripping on the table? And there you go. The bottom is done. All right, from bottom to top, here we go. Final step, and then your cedar planter box is ready for you to sand. Yay! So on the top, you should have two short pieces, 11 inches, and two longer pieces, 16 inches. The two shorter pieces are going to go on first, and they go on the sides of your box that are the shorter 11-inch sides. I'm going to go ahead and put one on, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to take our glue and put a bead of glue on the top edge. We're going to lay our top piece in, the short piece, and it needs to be flush with the inside wall of the box. Doesn't have to be exact, but get as close as you can. So this is what I'm talking about. Flush with the inside of the box. Now we'll do the other side. You're in the home stretch. Now the longer pieces, they just go on the outsides. Easy peasy at this point. We're just going to line them up and glue them and staple them in place, and you're all done. You'll want to let this sit for about an hour after you finish putting it together, just to make sure that the glue's had time to bite. We'd love to see pictures of the one that you built. Drop us a comment. Tell us what you built and show us. Also, while you're down in the comments, let us know what other kinds of projects like this you'd like for us to make. We've got a long list of projects in the queue for you, but based on what's popular, we could move things around. And there you go, friends. One 12 by 12, roughly speaking, cedar planter box that's ready for planting. So before you start sanding, at least in my case, I got some runny glue. So grab a paper towel, wet it down if you need to, and just wipe that glue off before it runs down the side of your planter and just looks bad. My personal favorite part, sanding. I love sanding more than anything else in the world. Lie, lie, lie! Okay, so who doesn't like getting the gift of a nice cedar planter box, minus all the splinters? I can see one right here. Take the time with your box. This was in your cut list, your shopping list. Pick up a sanding block, and I'm just going to show you quickly. If you have a copy of the build plans, all of these edges have been highlighted for you that we recommend that you knock down with some sandpaper. You don't have to sand for days. And while you're sanding, be careful that you don't end up with a splinter in your hand while you're sanding. 3 or 4 passes per side is really all it takes. Maybe 5 passes. And these corner edges, be sure you hit these. Two to 3 minutes of sanding, and your beautiful cedar planter box is completely finished. Congratulations if you stuck with us this far. We really appreciate you. We truly hope you enjoyed this build, and we hope you look forward to what we've got in the queue for you.
And there you have it, a simple cedar planter box that looks great and will last for years. Woodworking Over 50 isn't just about building projects. It's about staying active, creative, and enjoying the process of making something with your own 2 hands.
In the next episode of this series, we'll be building a Montessori bookshelf and introducing you to the pocket hole jig. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more woodworking projects and tips designed for our community. Thanks for watching. Till next time, friends. Peace, love, and sawdust. We're out.